Hello, everybody. Welcome to From One Side to the Other. Yeah, I'm back in the ridiculously oversized chair. Actually, you did remember to help Jesus actually get off of that couch, right? You didn't just leave him out there in the desert, bound to a chair.
No. He's fine.
God damn it, Bishop!
I'll find him. He'll be back next week.
Do you know what the odds are we actually find a Mexican in front of a Home Depot?
I left him on the couch, tied to the couch.
Out in the middle of the desert!
He's not going anywhere. Mostly.
We're just going to hear coyotes howling out in the distance. Hi, Sean. Hi, Mr. Bishop. Hi, Connie. Please don't call any kind of law enforcement. We're joking about Jesus. I'm sure he's fine.
Oh, he's fine.
Most likely he's back in West Virginia. And I'm in this chair. It's, you know, the weird thing is I've actually, forgotten how to sit in this chair. You don't understand. This chair is not only horribly too big, but it's also, broken in 3 or 4 different places. So it's actually really awkward to sit in. But anyway, you're not here to listen about that kind of crap, are you? No. So, we are going to be doing a bit of a road trip over the coming weeks and months and so on. We're going to cover a single cryptid from every state over the course of the show. Now, obviously, there are several states that have more than one cryptid, but, I don't know, it was a kind of challenge put to me. It's different ones from different places. And we're going to start that right off the bat. Hi, Mom. Hi, Connie. Hi, Sean. Everybody. We're going to start off with Now, I'm going to be completely honest. I kind of picked these first ones because they're kind of silly. I think none of these are very credible. They all are kind of unlikely. But, well, except for one of them. One of them, actually, I have a hard time explaining at all. But the first one we're going to talk about is the Loveland. Where is Loveland?
It's
What?
East Coast. I know the Loveland Frog.
I know the Loveland Frog. I'm saying, what state is he?
Ohio.
Ohio. Okay. Yeah, we'll probably mention the Frogman eventually. But anyway, the first one we're going to talk about is from Colorado. And on paper, this has got to be one of the silliest cryptids. But when you really think about what this creature is, you better hope it's not real. Because this is actually kind of terrifying one to think about. The first one is known as the Rocky Mountain Gorger, also called a rock slide bolter or a living boulder or a couple different names.
Slide rock bolt.
Yeah, but the one that it's most commonly called, which is funny because the first time I heard of this creature, I heard it called a Rocky Mountain Gorger. But apparently the more consistent normal name is a rock slide bolter. This is a weird critter. I want you to imagine if someone mixed a fish and a worm together, but made it the size of a whale. They are described as looking sort of like, oh God, what are they called? The flatfish, a stargazer?
Flounder?
Is that the, you know what I'm talking about though? The ugly ass fish that has the 2 eyes and the mouth on top of it.
Yeah, flounder.
Hold on here. I actually had it here. Scuplin. Scuplin.
Oh.
I guess is the name. But anyway, these ugly SOBs, they vary in their stories. Are you okay over there? Oh.
Yeah, I'm just fixing my hair.
It looked like you were trying to rip your hair out for a second. I was like, what the hell are you doing over there? Anyway.
Putting in a hair tie.
in the most odd way possible, but okay. Hi, Tara, my dear sister in the crowd. Anyway, though, the bolters, yeah, they look like a fish worm-like creature. Now, one of the most interesting things about them is that they have a tail fin, sort of, but it loops like two-pronged hooks. And according to the stories, these creatures will basically they live at the very top of mountains, and they hook themselves on the top of the mountain, looking down. And what they do is they wait for a substantial amount of movement in an area, and then they just lift their tail fin, which is a hook, so they slide down the mountain. And they open up their mouth, and they basically just bulldoze everything in front of them into their mouth. Some stories say that they live on soil and rock, kind of like a worm, but they prefer meat. They're predators. Another weird thing about them is that they secrete a grease from their cheeks that helps them slide down the mountains really fast. By the way, no matter how fast you think you are, these things are faster. They're essentially a living avalanche, which is terrifying because avalanches by themselves are nasty without, having a brain that wants to eat you. Yeah, that's an artistic rendition of them. And they slide really fast down. Now, what's interesting is that most cryptids, they just talk about them, what they do and how they look. Something I find interesting about the bolters is that a lot of the stories about them go into great detail about how to combat them, how can you survive them, and how can you kill one. It's weird, you never hear that. You never hear people talk about, how do you kill the Beast of Bray Road? How do you kill the Loveland Frogman? But the bolters, most of the legends about them are, what do you do? I mean, aside from die horribly, but you know what I mean. The stories kind of contradict. Some claim that they have very thick, rubbery, soft skin that conventional weapons aren't going to be able to pierce. Other stories say that they actually have incredibly hard scales that look kind of like rocks, so they camouflage. But again, your weapons aren't going to get through them. You can't shoot them. You can't stab them. They apparently like the warmth. They like heat, so don't bother trying to set them on fire or something. Most stories say that they do have one singular solitary weakness. Blow them the up. See, when they slide down the mountains, they close their eyes, because I guess the eyes are another vulnerable spot for them. But they close their eyes and they open their mouth, and they won't stop for anything. Anything in front of them is going to be part of, the buffet. So what you do is you trick them into eating something like TNT, or if you're one particular Colorado forest ranger, and this is a documented thing. I had to look this up. So I couldn't find a year, but apparently there was a town called Rico, Colorado, located near Lizard Head Mountain. Now, apparently this park ranger swore up and down that there wasn't just a bolter on Lizard Head Mountain, there was an exceptionally big one on Lizard Head Mountain. And so apparently nobody believed him and nobody would do anything about it, so he took measures into his own hands. He put up a bunch of scarecrows out on a trail and also put a bunch of bottles of nitroglycerin around the scarecrows. I'm not joking. And apparently he actually tricked this bolter into releasing its hook and sliding down the mountain, and it ate the dummies and the nitro. And you might not believe this, but apparently swallowing a few dozen crates of bottles of nitroglycerin, it set them off. Horrifyingly. Supposedly the blast was actually so bad that half of Rico, Colorado was leveled completely, and they never even bothered to rebuild it. And the subsequent cleanup of debris and bolter pieces, I guess, took somewhere around 3 months, 90 days. Yeah, so he was sliding down, having a good old time, thinking he was having something to eat, and then... But he was still having fun. Yeah. Now... Now I remember, because I looked at that, and I can imagine some people would say they couldn't believe that. Like, it took 90 days to clean up this monster. Well, keep in mind, these creatures are the size of whales. They're easily 40, 50, supposedly 40, 50 feet long. And this one was a particularly big one, so it could have easily been 60 for all we know. But don't worry, boys and girls, because we actually have a little gift for you all. We have a dramatic reenactment of what it would look like if a whale-sized creature suddenly blew the hell up. Bishop, are we ready with that?
This marks the potential start of a third world war, and we will soon be hit with a silent, untraceable attack on America.
No good.
Just a minute. We're gonna go through.
Yeah.
I knew it.
I knew there. Yeah. The second you said it might work, I knew something was going to go wrong.
Try it, like.
I'll look at the. Let's see how the chat's going real quick. You don't kill them because they're distinguished gentlemen. They're your friends. If a cannon can't kill the Jersey Devil, then you might as well give up on trying to kill cryptids.
Here we go.
There we go. Now, can they hear this?
Not only had a whale of
They can,
problem
okay.
on its hands,
Yeah, now, so this is a real incident where they had to get rid of a whale carcass that was washed up on a beach. And they had the brilliant idea of, rather than, break it up and chop it up or anything else, let's stuff about, 1,000 sticks of dynamite inside of it and see what happens? This was in Oregon.
Yeah, this is Florence, Oregon, which is
Not-
south of Newport, California.
Not exactly a bastion of genius, but yep, oh boy. Now remember, children, this is educational. This is why you do not use explosives on whale-sized creatures.
Seagulls had been standing nearby all day. As everything was being made ready, we asked George
Here it
Thornton,
comes.
the engineer in charge of the project, for his final observation.
Oh no, never mind.
They interview a few people. When did this happen?
We're not sure just exactly how much explosives
I'm not supposed to.
will
Wait,
take
what?
to disintegrate this.
The whale exploding,
Scavengers,
or
crabs and whatnot can clean it up.
Is there any chance it might be more than a one-day job?
not sure when this actually. Mr. Bishop, you might know. This sounds like something that Mr. Bishop would know. When was this whale incident?
Set another charge.
The dynamite was buried primarily on the leeward side of the big mammal, so as most of the remains would be blown toward the sea.
November 9th,
About 75
1970.
bystanders,
1970,
most of the
okay,
residents
let's
who
get
had
back
first
to-
found the whale to be an object of curiosity.
Okay, here we
before
go.
They tired
Thank
of
you.
the smell.
Yeah,
They
we're
moved
watching
back
this
a
with you
quarter of
guys.
a mile away. The
So-
sand dunes there were covered with spectators.
And the best part is, I
land
guarantee
newsmen.
there's a bunch of
Shortly
people in the
began
chat who have never
land
seen this,
blubber newsmen.
and they know what's
The
about to
last
happen. They
blast
know
of
why
blubber
this is a bad
beyond all
idea.
believable bounds.
They know what's coming. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Regret! Wait for it.
All right, Fred, you can take your hands out of your ears.
Reminds me of one of my favorite movies, Tremors. Do you think you got him?
Our cameras stopped rolling immediately after the blast, The humor of the entire situation suddenly gave way to a run for survival as huge chunks of whale blubber fell everywhere.
I love the scenes in
Pieces
Tremors.
of meat passed high over our heads while others were falling to their feet. The dunes were rapidly evacuated.
Now they're going to show pictures here real soon of the aftermath of this. Look at the cars.
Yeah. So much like with this incident, good God.
Yeah, that's what happens when a hunk of something falls on your car.
Yeah. Yeah. So Rico, I don't know if it's pronounced Rico or Rico. It might be in Rico, Colorado. Was half leveled. Half of the city was destroyed. Because this bolter, what goes up must come down.
Darkness began to set
That
in.
kid's
The highway
traumatized. He
crews
doesn't
went
want
back on the
sushi
beach,
ever
burying the remains, including a large piece of the carcass which
I
never
love sushi
left the
first.
blast site.
But anyway.
It might
But
be
yeah, that's the
concluded
whale.
that should a whale ever
Yeah, so
wash
that's
ashore
what
on the
that's what it
main
looks
coast, those in
that's what it
charge
looks
will
like
not
when a
remember what to
whale-sized
do. They'll certainly remember
something
what
blows
not to
up.
There's one
There
simple
are a
hearing
couple other
hack
tall
anyone
tales
can
about
use to improve their
lumberjacks,
hearing
getting
almost
swallowed by
overnight.
them and
Did you know
actually hacking their way out with an axe? But in general, yeah, the most surefire way to deal with a Sean, it's like when you try to clean up a stain, but you just spread it around. Yeah. Now I do have to put a question to the chat, though. So, this forest ranger, I don't know who the hell he was. His name is never said in the story. But he set out, his goal was to destroy this bolter. And, you know, I have to say, mission accomplished. Of course, it also cost, half of a city. And, again, 3 months. 3 months to clean up the wreckage. So I'm going to put it to the chat. What would you rather have? Half of your hometown leveled, or have a giant 50, maybe 60 foot long worm whale monster living up on a mountain outside of town?
I want the friend.
I personally feel like this ranger may have overreacted a little bit. I get the idea. They're dangerous. They can attack people, sure. But yeah, I don't think that was a very appropriate call, Mr. Ranger. How much do you want to bet his last name was Smith?
Probably.
Ranger Smith. Oh, Tara, late to the show. Now is seeing the whale video. But anyway, yeah, the bolters are weird. They're very obscure. And to be fair, yeah, I'd have to put them in the not very likely category. Not because a creature like that couldn't exist. I mean, okay, there are whales in the water. Why couldn't there hypothetically be whale-sized creatures on land? And if they're able to eat rocks and soil and stuff like a worm, then they wouldn't have to worry too much about food resources. I think the bigger problem for me with them and their credibility is that it's like, if there were a species of these creatures causing all kinds of, just moving causes destruction, we'd have to know more about them. There would have to be more. This isn't like a human-sized creature hiding in the forest or something. This is something that literally rips the side of a mountain off. Oh, Sean just would have put signs up to warn people that there's a bolter there.
That's what they do for the coyotes outside.
Yeah? Yeah, although I'm going to be fair, I don't think a coyote is quite as dangerous as a bolter.
Oh, the coyotes won't bother you. Maybe if you're like 4. But...
We filmed them. We filmed one time.
Yeah, I've seen them several times.
I've seen them a couple times, yeah. But anyway. Yeah, the bolters, they're just not likely because they're too big. They're too over the top to be real. They couldn't hide. I mean, if they were smaller, like if it was like the Mongolian death worm, they're only the size of a dog. They're not very big.
They're like couch size, I think, from what I understand.
I'd have to actually look. I'd have to actually double check and get the numbers. But yeah, they're not very big.
They're big for a worm, but yeah, they're
Oh,
not that big. But
yeah, but a whale-sized creature, there'd just be more. You would just see them more. Again, if it was a species, one whale-sized creature could easily probably hide up in the Rocky Mountains, sure. But this isn't one creature, this is a species. There's supposed to be many of them. Oh god, I just had a horrifying thought. I want you to picture for a moment rockslide bolter mating season.
Now, what about people... Everybody who sees something scary over-exaggerates it. What if they're not whale-size? What if they're literally just, like, forearm size? But
well, then
somebody's
they
like,
wouldn't...
oh, it was the size of a whale and it took down the entire mountain.
Then they wouldn't be able to cause rock slides at that small.
You can have a pebble cause a rock slide just with enough momentum. Technically. Like,
theoretically. I mean, I guess they could exist if they weren't whale size. If they were like Mongolian deathworm size, I'd be willing to believe that too. But that's the problem, is part of this creature's story is that they're freaking huge.
well, there's the other worms in Colorado.
Other
Which
worms
are smaller, but they feed on...
You're talking about like regular worms, like earthworms and stuff.
No, the ones that apparently attack dams because they go for water.
Oh god, that sounds so damn familiar.
Agarino.
Agarino. Now that's not a cryptid, that's a confirmed thing.
Folktales, lumberjack, ranching. No, it's a cryptid.
It is a cryptid, okay.
I might be pronouncing it wrong. A found in New Mexico was named... There was a fossil found in New Mexico in 2008 named...
The creature.
The Agarino, but yeah...
okay.
They attacked...
a dam, or dams, yeah.
Dams in like the early, late 1800s because they wanted water. But then again, folklore blaming... Oh, it was these worms.
Oh yeah, obviously it was kobolds.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, the Agarino. Maybe we'll talk about that sometime. But yeah, that's...
Yeah, maybe we will. But anyway, yeah, no, the bolter, it's one of those ones that I put it in the category, it'd be kind of cool if it was real. As the legends are told of it, I don't think it is. Now, if it was smaller, then I'd be willing to believe it. But again, the whole point of the story is these are creatures like the size of a whale that can slide down the mountain and literally just inhale people and animals like freaking Kirby. And apparently they have fun while they do it, just going wee, wee. You know, I think that would be actually the scariest part about it. That thing coming at you at high velocity, ripping a mountain aside, and it's got a big smile on its face. Wee! Like it's like a freaking puppy running up to play with you or something. But yeah, no, that's the bolter. Now the next one that we're going to talk about, we're going to go, so because that's Colorado, so we're one down, 49 to go.
Chupacabra?
Did we actually talk about the chupacabra? I mean, did we talk about Chupi?
All shows should be constantly talking about Chupacabra. That's what he says to me.
That doesn't answer my question. Ow!
And no.
You stay over there.
As in maybe yes.
I have to go back and check. I don't know if we actually did talk about the chupacabra. But anyway, the next one is actually from California. And this is actually... What happened to the screen? Oh, there they are. So, ladies and gentlemen, meet the Fresno Nightwalkers, or the Fresno Nightcrawlers as they're also known. These are some of the weirdest cryptids out there. And I know the competition is steep to be the weirdest cryptid, but they are pretty damn weird. So, if you're not watching the video and just listening along, I'll explain. The Fresno Walkers, or Nightwalkers, or Nightcrawlers, whatever you want to call them, are depicted as being around 4 to 5 feet tall. They are pale. According to the images we've seen of them, they have large reflective eyes. And they have no real torso or arms. They are literally just legs and a head. And they were first seen in Fresno, California in 2014, according to my records. They were recorded on a security camera in front of somebody's yard. Now they've been seen. There have been 3 more confirmed sightings of them. Another one was in Yosemite National Park. And then here's the weird thing. There was a 3rd sighting in 2020 in Poland. I know, bit of a jump in territory, isn't it? The walking pajama pants. Okay, so that's actually a funny thing. Yeah. So the Nightwalker is very strange. It's only been seen 3 times that we can confirm. And that means we have video or photographic evidence of them. But there's something just weird about the Nightwalkers because they're such a weird, random little thing that all this lore is literally that someone recorded them walking by. The original, I believe, in Fresno had a really tall one, and then there was a short little one following along behind it, I believe. That may have been the second one from Yosemite. I'm not sure which, but either way. And these little buggers, they don't do anything. They don't cause havoc. They don't destroy things. They don't scare people. It's literally they just have this bad habit of walking by in front of security cameras and turning on like motion cameras and stuff. Some people try to say that they're a ghost or a spirit because in one of the pieces of footage it looks kind of like they fade in. But yeah, a lot of people say that they're aliens, that they're extraterrestrials, which I kind of feel bad. Could you imagine being a species that is just a head with legs? No arms. I mean, I hope your knee is double jointed so you can use it like a hand, because I mean, you're going to be in deep. Yeah, you're screwed. How do you build a civilization if you just have feet? But anyway, something that always stood out to me with the Fresno walkers is that you see so many people try to slam the door on this cryptid. You know what I mean? It's kind of like we were talking about, was it last week? Yeah, last week. About the Philadelphia experiment. You know?
Yeah.
Every time someone mentions the Philadelphia experiment, 3 times they have to say, it didn't happen, it didn't happen, it didn't happen. Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like, okay, if the Fresno walkers aren't real, and I'm willing to say, okay, they are a fairly impractical creature, doesn't it seem kind of weird how so many people have gone out of their way to scream that they're not real? You know what I mean? It's like, we got the memo.
They're not evil.
Oh, Sean. Okay, real quick, I'm gonna correct you, Sean. First of all, the Mothman was not blamed for the bridge collapsing. It was seen as trying to warn people. The same with 9/11. The theories are that the Mothman was trying to warn people and prevent it from happening, not that he did it. And these creatures, how are they evil? They're literally just taking a walk. I'm kind of curious. How do you get evil out of a little pale pair of legs walking on by? It's like, what, Sean? Come on. I expect better from you. I mean, but anyway. Doesn't it seem kind of weird? Because, like, if you look them up, if you look up Fresno Nightwalker, or Nightcrawler, or whatever they're called.
Or Yosemite Nightwalker, that's the big one on YouTube. Yosemite Nightwalker.
Yeah, that's the one that most people know. Aside from the actual pieces of footage, so much of it is people mocking it and doing fake videos. And again, it always struck me as weird. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I give you, they're a weird kind of impractical cryptid. They're not very likely. I'd put them in the unlikely category, yeah. But it just seems so weird that this cryptid that, well, obviously it can't be real. So many people fall over themselves to make sure you know, hey, by the way, did you know it's not real? It's not real, because it didn't happen. It's fake. Obviously it's fake. That's one of those things. It's like it's like reverse psychology, you know? The more you say something is fake, the more it makes me question, why do you want me to think it's fake so bad? Yeah, I can look at it and say, okay, probably not very real. But here's the weird thing. Here's the thing I think is funny. So many people make mock videos of the Nightwalkers, and then they just fail horribly because, as best as I've seen, no one's been able to actually replicate exactly the Yosemite footage and the Fresno footage. It's always some person that like pulls up pajamas over to their neck and waddles around, but they don't move like those creatures do. It's one of those things, like, that's not what we're seeing in that footage.
Want me to try to play the footage?
I mean, you want to give it a shot? Could we?
I can try, but there might be a stupid ad.
Oh, I'm a bastard. I'm a bastard, Sean. Okay, first of all, I'm not the bastard. That's Tara. She was the one born out of wedlock. There, of course.
Yeah, of
commercial.
course. They can't hear it.
Okay, but anyway. But no, it's like that reverse psychology thing. It's like the more people scream that it has to be fake and it's obviously not real, you just make me wonder why you're so worried about it then.
Yeah, why do they care so much?
Yeah, why? It's weird. Like, I'm not saying there's a conspiracy afoot. I'm just saying, isn't it kind of weird? There we go. Can they see it?
Yeah.
This is the Yosemite?
Yeah, this is the Yosemite Nightwalkers. There's going to be 2 of them walking. There is no audio, so
Okay.
there might be 3 of them.
I can't remember.
The videos that I know.
Oh, here they come. Here they come.
There's usually 2 or 3 of them in pairs.
They're kind of cute little bastards.
Yeah, it's kind of
See,
like,
look at the size difference.
like an adult and a child.
Yeah.
The little one's walking faster.
It keeps stopping, it looks like. Yep, there he goes. There he goes. Bye.
As usually something smaller needs to move legs more to keep up.
Well, yeah, because their legs can't reach as far, so they can't cover the same ground. Okay, there we are. We're back.
And that was the Yosemite Nightwalker
That was
video.
the Yosemite. Yeah. And it I don't know.
There's a few other videos.
It just kind of sticks. Yeah, see, from what I was reading, there's 3 confirmed that they weren't able to debunk. One was in Poland, one was in Yosemite, and one was in Fresno. There was also a really weird thing. In Canada, I believe it was, they tried to claim that there were Native American legends of these Nightwalkers. But that was actually proven to be false. That was a modern artist's rendition. Which, again, it's so weird that there's really not much here when you look at the cryptid. But everybody and their ugly sister comes out of the woodworks to try and debunk these things or mock it. They look like they have moon gravity on. Yeah, they do kind of have a weird motion to them. The big explanation is that they are extraterrestrials. They're aliens. Now, again, and the funny thing is that, like, if I just watched those videos, I really wouldn't think twice about them because they do seem kind of impractical. And the thing that keeps drawing me back to them is, and I know I'm repeating myself, I'm going to say it anyway, is that it's like, it's such a small thing. It's nothing. It's literally just like a 10-second clip of footage. But people will not shut up about how you shouldn't believe this. You're stupid if you believe it. It's obviously fake. I don't need to explain why it's fake. You need to take my word. It's obvious. And it's one of those things, it's like, I think doth do protest too much. Because, I mean, again, I looked at it and was like, okay, that looks really random. There's nothing to base anything on there. But there are people who just will not let you forget for 5 seconds that the Fresno Nightwalkers are dumb. And that's the thing that I think sets off the biggest red flag. They don't say that they're not real. They don't say that they're fake. They say you the viewer, are dumb. There is a negative indication if you believe it. That doesn't sound like debunking. That sounds like dissuading. They want you to equate the Fresno Nightwalkers with being dumb. Well, you're not dumb, right?
That makes me want to believe in them more, even if just out of spite.
Yeah,
of course I believe in them.
It raises questions.
Despite you.
It raises questions and leaves us kind of all like, wait, what? It's just so strange to me.
But, yeah, that just makes me think, like...
What do you not want? Yeah, why are you so concerned?
Why do you care so much about denying it? Why do you care what other people want to like and believe?
Yeah, it seems weird.
That makes me think, like, well, maybe I don't actually believe in them, but I'm going to spite
bother you. Yeah.
Leave me alone. Go
See,
away.
now it's fun. Now you're making it a game. And again, it really does seem like there's something they don't want us talking about, you know? It's weird.
Plus,
which ties into alien stuff. Because again, that's the main theory, is that these are aliens, these are extraterrestrials. And that's why we hardly ever see them. We've only seen them 3 confirmed times.
Yeah, and a few probably fakes, obviously, but yeah.
Oh, lots of fakes. But again, that's the weird thing, is it's not like a fair, unbiased, like, okay, I'm going to watch this and I'm going to debunk it. I'm going to show how it's fake, which is fun to do, by the way. I keep saying we need to like actually just do that sometime. Just find some charlatans and just tear them apart for the amusement of our viewing audience.
See, I know a Bigfoot expert.
No. Anyway, but the problem I have with everyone who tries to debunk the Nightwalkers is that it's not that they're trying to debunk it. It's slanderous. It's never just, okay, so here's where you can see that this was cut. Here's where you can see that it was a filter. Here's this. Here's that. No. This is obviously fake. You're an idiot if you think it's real. It's, you know, it's weird. It's dissuasion. Which again makes me wonder, why don't you want me thinking about the Nightwalkers? What you know, Sean might be onto something. Is there some secret lore to the Fresno Nightwalkers that we don't know?
Maybe.
I'm just saying, it seems really weird. But anyway, yeah, that's our California cryptid, the Fresno Nightwalker, who I'm gonna be honest, I think I said this already. They're kind of cute. They're kind of cute little buggers that just bumble around.
This is an artist rendition.
Yeah, that's an artist rendition of them.
Yeah, they've never hurt anybody. They've never harassed anybody. They just kind of walk down the street, or they walk in yards.
Yeah.
Or they walk through the forest. They're just...
yeah.
They walk.
In fact, actually, yeah, no. A lot of people have said that they're considered one of, if not the least dangerous cryptid. Because there's literally no account of them ever doing anything. They literally just walk by.
The slide rock bolters are more dangerous.
Oh, way more dangerous. A frickin' bolter will literally swallow you whole.
And
hopefully you have a lumberjack and an axe with you so you can escape, but yeah, no, they're nasty. Bolters are dangerous. The Fresno Nightwalkers are harmless. Now watch, actually, we say that, but the truth is they have like an atomic power level kick. and they can just like shatter your bones.
Well, it's like a human. I'm like, most people won't bother you unless you bother them. And then it's like,
Yeah. And then there's people on social media.
And then there's the Mothman, who actually has a body count. Again, as we were saying, did he cause a bridge? I don't think so. I think he was a warning.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But anyway, we are just shooting through time here tonight. See, I kind of knew this was part of me felt like this was a mistake, because I specifically chose 3 obscure cryptids. And the problem with obscure cryptids is that there's not much to say about them.
And we can always...
I mean, I can talk about stuff. Calm down.
Oh, yeah.
It does always bug me when the chat goes completely quiet, though. But that was our California cryptid, the Fresno Nightwalker, or Nightcrawler, or just the Fresno Walker, as some people call it.
So we have a Colorado cryptid and a California cryptid. That's 2 of 50 states.
Yep. 48 to go?
Yeah.
Yeah. The bishop will be keeping track, don't worry.
I will, yes. Because we want to do all 50.
We're gonna get to all 50.
Eventually, not necessarily in order you were saying.
Yeah, but anyway. Our next one is... So this one might be kind of cheating. Because it's technically a story told all through the Southwest. But from what I was digging on it, it's most known in New Mexico. Do you ever wonder... I always wondered, do Mexicans have, like, resentment towards New Mexico? Because it's like, we made a state and we're like, you know what? Screw you guys. New Mexico!
Do the people...
More flavor.
Do the people across the pond have resentment to New York?
And New England?
York? And New England compared to England? And New York compared to York?
Yeah. Don't worry. I kind of wish Jesus was here. I could guarantee he'd be like, no. That's New Mexico. We're Mexico Classic. Mexico Classic.
Jesus will be back next
Probably.
week. I'll go find him where he may or may not have been left out in the desert. This is not an admission of guilt nor a confirmation. But he might be back next week.
Okay, Sean brings up a fair point that we have to acknowledge. We've never seen any interaction with the Nightwalkers, possibly because there's never been a survivor. That I will acknowledge that is a hypothetical explanation, but at the same time, it's a pair of legs with a head, man. Come on. What the hell is it going to do?
Might have psychic powers.
I mean, telepathic, fine, whatever. Anyway.
We have a request for Louisiana next.
Louisiana has lots of stuff to talk about. But before we get to Louisiana, we're going to talk about one of my favorites. And I'll give you, this is one of the least likely of the cryptids. Like, if there was any cryptid that I was going to say, okay, that's probably a story spread by drunks at the local bar trying to sound cool, it would be this guy. But he's also really a fun cryptid. He's a cute little thing. I'm talking about, of course, the cactus cat. The cactus cat is probably one of the most bizarre cryptids because, well, it is a plant and also an animal. It is a cat made of plant matter. It's basically a cat made out of cactus. The stories do vary about how they look. Some say that they're actually very big, the size of a coyote in some cases. Others say they're small, like a house cat. The stories always talk about them being alone. They are solitary animals, like actual cats. They prefer to be by themselves. They have what's called a forked tail, which means it's a tail that branches off like a tree branch. But what's interesting is that they are covered in cacti needles. And some stories say that these needles are kind of like a Shar-Pei's fur. It has an oil that can make your get a rash, or can cause you to actually lose feeling in your skin where you're touched by it. But what's funny is that, and I don't want to alarm anyone, but cactus cats are cannibals. They feed on almost exclusively cacti. And what's interesting is that supposedly in the stories, they will get drunk. I said, yes, drunk, on the sap of a cactus. Which is weird. I've heard some people say cactus is good. I personally didn't like it. It tasted like grass. And I've heard everyone say, oh, it was cooked wrong. I didn't personally like it, but supposedly it's the only thing that they'll eat. They'll only eat cacti, and they can get drunk off the sap. And when they get drunk, they get angry. They get mean. And they are actually pretty gnarly. Not only, of course, because they're a walking cactus covered in, needles, but they have claws, they have fangs, and they will absolutely attack a human when they're drunk. What's funny is that the worst thing that they have in their arsenal isn't their claws or their needles. It is what's referred to as a bone-shaking wail. They can scream. And apparently the scream is such a high pitch, it will literally make your bones vibrate. Yeah. I don't even know how you would describe that. That sounds horrible. Your bones shaking inside your skin.
I guess with the right pitch, it's theoretically possible.
Yeah. Some stories also go on claiming that this scream, it rings in your ears. And it's in one story I found, a frontiersman from New Mexico actually claimed that he could hear the sound for 3 days later. It took 3 days for it to stop ringing in his ears. So, pretty gnarly critter. The funny thing is that they're also dangerous when they're sober, but for a different reason. So, you gotta understand something. We're talking about the 1800s, early 1900s time frame. A lot of people would be out camping in Colorado. Now, the nice thing about Colorado is that outside of the winter, it has fairly docile skies. So a lot of people who were camping when they were in the Colorado Territory, you don't really need a tent. They would just sleep under the stars, so to speak. Unless it was wintertime, and then what the hell are you doing in Colorado? Alfred, looking at you. We love you, Alfred, but god damn, you were an idiot. Anyway, though, now the thing is interesting. The cacti cat are very similar to your normal house cat, which means that they are most active at dusk and dawn, and they spend most of the later night and the afternoons sleeping. And I don't know why exactly they do this, but this is a thing that supposedly they do, and it's a big problem. They like humans. Now, some stories say that they like the warmth of a human body. Other people say that when they're sober, they're just really friendly animals, actually. And when they see a human sleeping out in the prairies or wherever the hell, the Front Range or whatever area you're in, that's Colorado, no. I don't know what the areas of New Mexico are called, but the point is, in New Mexico, people would just sleep, not in a tent. Because again, much like Colorado, there's really not much weather there outside of the one season, so just throw a blanket over yourself. If even that. Some people would actually just lay a blanket on the ground and sleep on the ground. And here comes this little kitty cat made of cactus, and they like to snuggle up to people.
Just like a normal cat.
Like a normal cat. Now, I want people to think about this for a minute. Could you imagine that? You're out there, you're camping, you're sleeping, and suddenly this, few pound animal just wants to tuck in right under your arm, up against your chest. I'm thinking about this scenario, and all I can think about is the Goofy scream. You know how Goofy screams, or how Tom from Tom and Jerry screams?
I know Hank Hill.
Whoa! Oh, no. No, we need a much louder, much more high-pitched scream for that. I think if a cactus decides to snuggle up to you, that's grounds for a Wilhelm.
Yeah. That was a weak Wilhelm. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know. It'd be like, you're very pokey. I don't know.
A cactus. I could see it, Sean. A cactus cat getting drunk in 3 a.m., getting the zoomies, and accidentally destroys an entire New Mexico town. But see, that's the funny thing is, like, when they're drunk, they're aggressive and they're angry and they'll attack you. When they're sober, they'll want to cuddle with you. And if you don't think that's a problem, high five a cactus. And tell me how that goes for you. Don't do that, by the way, actually. I am not endorsing any of that kind of nonsense.
I've had a couple cactuses whack me, and it's not...
I've stepped on them a couple times.
See, I've been in shorts and walked through, and they'll stick in you.
Yeah.
They're actually not that painful, like the ones I've got, but they do make you bleed. Poison plants are a lot worse. I can attest to that.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing is, some people say that their needles have a sort of oil toxin on them that can cause skin irritations.
I think it depends on the cactus.
Yeah, but I'm saying the cactus cat.
Oh.
Yeah. Much like a Shar-Pei does. And that's the thing. Because it's like everything about the cactus cat actually kind of makes sense. Except that it's a plant. It's like, okay, so there's a species of cat who lives in the American Southwest that has prickly, oily fur. Well, we have Shar-Peis. That's a Shar-Pei. Okay, why wouldn't there be a feline version of that? But then you say it's a plant. And it's like, plants don't work that way.
To be fair, the people who have seen these, allegedly, let's assume they do, how do they know it's a plant? Maybe it's just a green cat that's like a porcupine. Do we know it's a plant? Maybe it's actually like a mammal.
See, that's what they claim. So, another thing about them is that when they are sleeping, they will tuck themselves into a little ball. And so they'll kind of camouflage and they'll look like a... oh god, what is it? What's the kind of...
Hedgehog?
No, the kind of cactus. It doesn't grow up, it's just a little ball shape.
Oh, I don't know the kind. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, supposedly they camouflage themselves and look like that.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called.
But there it is, yeah.
Yeah, I see them all the time.
Yeah.
Mountain crab.
But they curl up like a ball and they look like a normal cactus.
Yeah, and people would never
would. Yeah, you wouldn't. I mean, would you go and poke that thing to see if it's an animal?
No.
I wouldn't.
Parodia.
Parodia.
This ball-shaped cactus boasts showy flowers, which may be yellow, red, orange, or pink, depending on the species.
See, that's another question. Do cactus cat grow flowers? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I've looked at the artistic renditions of them, and I don't see anyone ever drawing them with a flower. But cacti produce flowers. See, I've heard some people say the flower is the best part of a cactus, actually.
Barrel cacti.
Barrel cacti.
The genus is known for its rounded ball-like shape that may elongate with age. There are 6 species in this family in Arizona, Texas, and Mexico.
But not New Mexico?
Doesn't say, actually.
How very interesting.
Oh, they are native to Arizona, Texas, and Mexico. Which they can migrate to.
Yeah. But anyway. Yeah, no, these are a weird creature because, like, it's like 90% plausible, I would argue. And some people would say, well, wait a minute, it lives in all across the southwest of America. Wouldn't we have seen and documented them? Not necessarily, boys and girls. Actually, we were talking about before how we've seen coyotes. Now, count how many times you've seen a coyote.
We've lived here like 8 or 9 years. I've only seen coyotes like 5 times.
I can verify I've seen them 3. I've seen foxes twice. But animals can hide. And if they're smart, they will. Although I do have to confess, I kind of like Sean's idea of a cactus cat getting the zoomies and absolutely reaping havoc on a town by accident. That would be kind of funny.
It costs $1.33 to buy and post, but that's a cool picture. And yes, barrel cactuses are in New Mexico.
Okay, so people could have seen those, because that's the claim. That's the claim, is that, well, you don't see them in the daytime because they're camouflaged, and when they sleep, they are perfectly still. So, if you're out in the New Mexico desert, or Arizona, or Nevada, or California even, you could have seen a cactus cat. You just didn't know it, because they curl up into a ball, and they sleep. And the thing is again, they are perfectly still. They do not move. Even, they're breathing, but they do not move. They are perfectly motionless.
Wow, this is actually a really well done picture.
Is that a photo or is that a painting?
This is a photo.
See, I like deserts in general. If you couldn't tell, folks, I mean, I work out here.
Yeah.
But
these are some.
Yeah, no, cactus cats are adorable.
We never got the cactus cat of the.
Oh, the Cryptids, yeah.
Cryptids, because that was the rarest of the rare. Was the cactus cat.
Those are cool.
Little toys that you can mail order that we got a few of.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get some more in the future.
They're still around.
Oh, I'm sure they are. But anyway, yeah. No, the cactus cat's another really weird one, because it's like, again, I'm with it 90% of the way, and then it being a plant, I don't agree with that. And now I'm curious, it's like, do they grow flowers?
Yeah, well, why do they say they're a plant? Because they're green.
Green and covered in needles, like a cactus.
Lizards are green. Nobody says they're plants.
Well, they also don't curl up and look like a plant, and they have needles
up.
like a...
But no, like, my thing is, like, why do they say they're a plant?
See, a common explanation for the cactus cat legend is drinking. Some schmuck out in the New Mexico desert has too much tequila. Hey, look, we've all been there. You get a few drinks in you, and things start looking nicer than they actually are, and you make a mistake, and you think that a cactus is friendly shaped. It is not, by the way. But you're drunk, and you think it is, and yeah, you decide to go and pet that little kitty cat that's over there. And of course, you're not going to say that. You're not going to tell everyone that you were so shit-faced drunk that you tried to pet a cactus. It's like, oh, it was a cactus cat. If they are really only interested in sleeping humans in the desert, maybe they aren't plants, and the startled awake campers didn't see them clearly in the light. Yeah. To be fair, if something like a porcupine, because okay, let's assume that it's not actually a plant. the closest things to compare it to are the Shar-Pei and a porcupine.
Hedgehog, but hedgehogs won't really.
Yeah, but they don't really have they're
not really stabby.
Yeah, their fur it looks worse than it is. Shar-Pei's, that fur can actually get stuck in you. Same with a porcupine. So
now, okay, will a porcupine go toward warmth? So it sees a sleeping human, it's like, that's warm?
It could.
I don't know much at all about porcupines. I
don't know, but no, that's the story. Supposedly, they like people when they're sober, and they will try to snuggle up to you when you're asleep out in the desert. And they have, yay long needles, and that's not going to go well for you.
I just want to play the Homeward Bound clip.
He bit me with his butt!
I don't
Yeah. But, I mean, okay. It kind of does make sense if it's not a plant, I'd be willing to give the cactus cat, in all sincerity, of the three creatures we've talked about so far, I'd be willing to say the cactus cat, if it's not a plant, if it's actually something like a porcupine or a Shar-Pei, I'd say it's the most possible, incredible creature that we have tonight so far.
Yeah, because logically it's just a green cat with
porcupine
quills.
Yeah.
Which we have porcupines that aren't green, so why can't we have something similar that is
Are
green?
porcupines indigenous to North America? Where are they from?
I want to say they are.
I think they are, but now that I'm actually I'm questioning myself. Because I think about it, and the Shar-Pei comes from China. The porcupine, where are they indigenous?
North American porcupines are native to the coniferous and mixed forest habitats of Canada and northeastern and western regions of the United States.
So they're on the top half.
And northern Mexico.
Northern Mexico is.
So, yeah, they would be in New Mexico.
So, yeah, if one creature could exist in that region and develop quills like that, why couldn't a feline? So, yeah, no, that actually does make sense.
Here's their range. You probably can't see that from my computer. But,
that covered New Mexico.
That covers New Mexico, northern and southeastern Arizona, western Texas, Colorado, Utah, Idaho, Nevada, eastern Oregon,
now,
all the way up into Alaska through British Columbia.
Now I'm wondering. Okay, you have Jeffro Jericho out there, in the New Mexico desert. He drinks a little bit too much tequila. He doesn't know north from south. He encounters a porcupine. He's drunk off his ass. He's embarrassed because it bit him with its butt. He makes up a tall tale that it's a cactus cat.
Yeah.
I mean, could it just be porcupines? Well, I guess, do porcupines curl up into balls? Hedgehogs do. Armadillos do.
Porcupines, I think they sleep kind of curled. Hold on.
Yeah. We're breaking the real ground here. Cactus cats are actually porcupines.
Porcupines may be active in the day, but are mostly nocturnal.
Which is when they encounter sleeping people.
They do traditionally sleep in trees and hollow logs and rocks. They hide.
Yeah.
They do not build a nest. Unless it's severe winter, then they might do
a burrow. They might. Yeah, no.
No.
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. These people encountered porcupines and were too drunk to put two and two together, so they made up this elaborate creature about living cacti that attacked them. We're getting to the bottom of this stuff. They're about the size of a cat.
Porcupine, yeah. Looking at these pictures, I would compare them more to a possum than a cat, but there's green ones.
Not in the right area, but yeah, I imagine. But
yeah, these look like South American jungle. I got a bunch of pictures up here of like yellowish green porcupines.
You guys can't see it, but yes, we have found photos of greenish colored porcupines.
Mexican hairy dwarf porcupine or Mexican tree porcupine.
Kind of looks cat-like. Got a greenish hue to it. They're from Mexico. Who's to say that they didn't, some didn't go north or get brought there by traffickers?
Especially if some young
prospector,
in the mid 1800s got drunk. I mean, that could be a cat.
Oh, absolutely. Are you joking? He's like, seriously. Nothing is what it looks like when you're drunk. Including that really hot chick who's totally into you at the bar. Just saying.
I want to throw up a picture. Some of these things are...
See, I think they're kind of cute. I think porcupines are kind of cute. I do think it's kind of funny how people always seem to get porcupines and hedgehogs mixed up. When it's like, they're not similar at all. I don't understand how this mix-up with them came about. Anteaters look more like frickin' porcupines.
See, porcupines always remind me of possums.
Kind of?
Hedgehogs always remind me more of like an anteater. See, here's a hedgehog. I know we're talking behind the camera, you can't see. I'm trying to find a...
Yeah, he's looking for a good picture of one of these green porcupines. But, yeah, the cactus cat, I think they're fairly possible. I think that there's a lot of mistakes about them, is the thing.
I'm going to... I'm going to throw up a picture of a porcupine. This one is not green.
Right. But this is what I'm thinking might be the explanation of the cactus cat.
But this is a generic porcupine.
Yeah.
Now this one's not green, but that's basically...
Now tell me that you are sleeping off getting drunk, and this thing bumbles into you in the dark of night, and you don't think that it's a cactus feline. Goodbye. He just went away.
Especially if...
It's dark out, it's nighttime.
If it's one of your first few times having tequila or whiskey or anything, it's like you're out there sleeping and then a porcupine walks by and it's like,
well,
it was green, it was cat, oh man, no.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, okay, think about it too. Porcupines have no natural predators. Nothing screws with a porcupine.
Not really,
no. So it's not going to be scared. It's going to go boldly on into the night. It bumps into you. It's dark. It can't see you. It's not going to stop because, I mean, what's going to attack it?
A wolf probably would.
No. What? Not many creatures would mess with a porcupine, I think. Hi, Dad. Pop-Tarts.
Well, other than fishers, I'm assuming they mean a type of bird. Great horned owls, bobcats, and coyotes.
Really?
So yeah, they're praised for like cats.
Why would they? I would not go after a porcupine.
Cats can
get under them, I guess. Yeah, but still, in general, porcupines, they're not afraid of anything. They're gonna just go forward. So it's dark. It's late at night. This porcupine is, looking for somewhere to sleep. There's your dumb drunk butt laying on the ground. It bumps into you by accident. It's got all those nasty quills. What is a porcupine to a drunk person who's suddenly woken up and in pain? A damn cactus attacked you. Yeah, I think we may have gotten to the bottom of this. Cactus cats are porcupines.
Yeah, like American lions and bobcats, they'll get them.
A puma, I guess. I would not look I would not look at a porcupine and think, okay, there's food.
Chance did.
No, Chance was just curious. Chance just wanted to sniff them.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, Chance is not exactly an exemplar of intellect. That is an adorable movie, though. But anyway, we have one more thing we want to talk about tonight, and I want to say I'm not counting this towards our cryptids of the United States, because I'm not sure it's exactly what you would call a cryptid. I could see people saying it's more of a mythological creature. And Sean, I hope you actually are still in the chat. Maybe you could help me out here. Because this is a creature that we have no real stories about, but we have artwork depicting them. 2 examples of confirmed, actually. So I guess this is more of a mythological animal, because it's tied to like murals and stuff like that, not a cryptid, but it's kind of a cool critter, and I wanted to bring it up anyway. So we don't know what they are really called or what they were called at the time, because again, all we have is these 2 murals that depicted them. But they are referred to as Cyclops beetles, because that's exactly what they are. They are described as being these kind of... See, I've heard some people argue they look metallic, but personally, I've seen the mural that depicts them, and it's like, I'm not sure I'd say that's metallic. But for context, these are creatures that are described as being gigantic beetles. Some hypothesize they're around the size of a dog or a wolf, maybe a small horse. What's the term? Pony, excuse me. The size of a pony or a large dog, something like that. But what's interesting about them is that they have incredibly long pincers in front of their body, and they have one large eye, which is where they get their name, Cyclops beetle, from. Now, we call them Cyclops beetles because we literally don't have any other information about them. Oh, Sean is actually not here right now, of course. Anyway, fine. Leave me alone to do this myself. Whatever.
This is the way?
But no. There are only 2 incidents where we actually have seen murals depicting these creatures. One was in Egypt, inside the Valley of the Kings, actually. There was a mural depicting these creatures in the wall of a tomb for one of the lesser-known pharaohs from the... Hold on, I got this. I swear I do. 8th dynasty. King Ishnotep, I think is how you pronounce his name. King Ishnotep, he was a lesser-known pharaoh from the 8th dynasty. He ended up being put into the Valley of the Kings, and his modestly small tomb had this random wall where these Cyclops beetles were painted. Nowhere else in Egyptology, nowhere else in any kind of lore at all. They're just here. And there's all kinds of speculation of what these creatures are, where did they come from, what ties do they have to Ishnotep. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't want to be cursed. Pharaoh Ishnotep of the 8th dynasty. But he apparently thought these bugs were so important that he had a mural depicting them up on the wall. And supposedly there was a second time that these creatures were found in a mural. I believe it was in... Hold on. I have it, I swear. I want to say Syria, actually. Supposedly they found another piece of mural that showed these creatures. The problem is that when the mural of Ishnotep was found in the Valley of the Kings, it was found by archaeologists, and researchers, and they kind of scratched their head because what the hell are these things? They don't exist anywhere else in lore. There's no depiction like them anywhere. But apparently they mattered to this guy. And supposedly this other tomb was found in Syria. And unfortunately, it was found by, I don't know what they called themselves, but it was basically, it was a radical group. I know, right? Imagine that, a group of radical people in Syria. Now, supposedly, they found this tomb underground while they were, I guess they were digging a tunnel or something. I don't know. I mean, crazy people are going to crazy, right? But anyway, they found this tomb. And here's the funny thing. They evacuated. They fled from it. Because supposedly it was filled with, and I'll quote them, blasphemies we had never seen before. Make of that what you will. But whatever was in there was so heretical, so evil, in the opinion of extremists, that they actually decided they had to do it. They had to be brave and go back into this tomb that they found with the intention of destroying it. Which, by the way, real quick, I'm just gonna say the insulting thing. If you're all powerful, all knowing, all present God can have their feelings hurt, then they're not all powerful or all knowing or all present. They sound kind of like a bitch, actually, in my personal opinion. I'm sorry. I've never understood blasphemy laws. I'm sorry. It's like, okay, the one thing, like, I can understand insulting a person, but I would expect a God to be a little above that. But apparently this tomb was so blasphemous. Whatever was inside there had to be eradicated. But what's interesting is that they actually took photos inside the temple. Or, well, they called it a tomb. But some people say it was a temple, and that's actually why they destroyed it. It was some temple to a pagan god or something. Which, to be fair, Bishop, you might help me out here. Syria is the land of the Canaanites, isn't it?
That's
or
in
no?
General, yeah.
In that area?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if, like, exactly, but no, wasn't that the Canaanites' land?
That area in general, yeah.
Because I'm kind of drawing, dotting the, connecting the dots here. Those Canaanites, they had a history of problems with the Abrahamic religions, if I recall correctly. So it actually kind of would make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's the great...
Yeah, the Canaan... Was it called the Canaan? See, I've only heard them called the land of the Canaanites. And I want to say that's... Yeah, Syria is there now, isn't it?
Yeah, Syria's part of it. According to this map, Damascus... part of it.
Part of it, okay. So, yeah, so could it have been a Canaanite thing that they found? Because, again, they went in there and they took pictures to, like, prove, hey, look, what we're doing isn't wrong. This is truly evil and blasphemous and it has to be eradicated. They took pictures and, yep, sure enough, there's those weird Cyclops beetles again on the wall depicted in a mural. And then they blew it up. What's funny is actually, it kind of came to bite them in the ass. Because supposedly they put some dynamite in there. And their plan was, they put the dynamite in, they went outside, and they were just going to, do the plunger thing, and they were going to blow it up that way. It wasn't like a suicide bomb thing. But apparently they put way too much dynamite in there. Or there was something explosive inside that tomb. Because when they detonated it, it was a massive explosion. The whole place was turned into a smoldering crater by their own definition. And I want to say a bunch of the guys who did it actually survived the explosion, even though it was way bigger than they planned. But I want to say one of them actually, like, he took a vow of silence or something. Like, he was shook. He was disturbed deeply by whatever he saw in that temple or tomb or whatever it was, and destroying it apparently only made it worse for him. He did not have a comfortable or happy life after that, supposedly. But these weird beetles were there again. And we know nothing else about it. Because, again, apparently in the temple or the tomb of Ishnotif, it was like a piece of art that he had collected, because that's what they would do. They would bury their treasure with their kings. And so he had this mural that I guess he wanted to keep with him that showed these weird beetles. Now, unfortunately, the one time we found them in their actual environment, in this Syrian tomb, they decided to destroy it. So we don't know what the hell it was. Was it a Canaanite thing? Could have been. Could have been something else. Could have been something that was older than the Canaanites. Could have been something that was done recently as like an art project for all we freaking know. But unfortunately, we'll never know because, yeah, it was completely destroyed. By the way, real quick, if you're going to destroy history, which, by the way, you shouldn't. I don't care what history it is. I don't care whose history it is. I don't care how your God feels about it. Destroying history is barbaric. And I will not respect anyone who advocates for the destruction of knowledge. Even something bad is worth learning. That's one of the reasons me and you guys didn't see this because we did this after the show last week. Me and Jesus kind of went rounds about book burning. And he was like, well, what about Hitler's biography? It's like, nope, that is information and it is important in its own right. It's bad information, but it's still information. And at the end of the day, destroying history, destroying monuments, any monuments, burning books, I don't care what the book is, that is barbarians. We are civilized human beings. We do not conduct ourselves that way. Okay? So I'm just pointing that out. I'm not picking on these guys because they were Muslim. I'm not picking on them because they were fanatical. I'm picking on them because they behaved like barbarians. Destroying history is wrong. We will never know. Well, maybe never know. We might know. Maybe we'll find more of them. But as it stands right now, this moment, we do not know what these Cycloptean beetles are. What significance they have. Were they tied to a specific religion? Were they just pretty artwork? I mean, that's a thing. Who knows? Maybe this is the biggest troll, through time. And these beetles were literally just something that some Syrian painter cooked up. And it just so happened that a pharaoh liked it. So he bought a mural of it. I mean, that's possible. It could be a big red herring for all we know. But that's the problem. We don't know. And we will never know, probably. So thanks a lot, guys, for ruining it for everybody else. But they are a really weird critter. Because, again, like, Egyptian and Syrian artwork and stuff is usually not very detailed, but these guys were like painstakingly painted and chiseled into the wall to make this mural. And again, they put it into the tomb of a pharaoh, so I mean, it had to be important, at least to him, And take your guesses for the Syrian temple or tomb or whatever the hell it was, because we'll never know. But I wanted to give them a little shout out. What would you say? Would this count as a cryptid? Or is this more of like a mystery of history? History's mysteries kind of thing. I don't know. I want to call them a cryptid. But I feel like that's what I want more than is correct.
It's definitely a mystery of history.
Yeah. I mean, I guess to be fair, it doesn't say... None of the murals that we have images of specifically say that these were real creatures. They could have been mythological things. But yeah.
Definitely a mystery of history. It could be a cryptid, I'd say, yeah.
Oh, Sean actually comes in with a good point. There was a scarab god in Egypt. They could have been some significance to that.
They were scared, yeah.
Yeah.
Giant scarabs. Just like...
Oh, yeah. Sean brings up how there are artworks of bulls in Egypt, too, which come from King Minos. So, I mean, yeah, art can travel, but still, these creatures are very strange because they stick out like a sore thumb, and yeah, we only have 2 incidences of them being seen. I suppose I should be fair, that we know of. I mean, for all we know, there could be other people who have found artwork or artifacts of these creatures and are just keeping it quiet. Dick move, by the way. History should be shared. It belongs to everyone.
Yeah. I definitely agree.
Yeah. But, I don't know, I just wanted to mention them, and we're talking about cryptids anyway, right? And we had plenty of time left over after those 3, because, again, that's kind of the downside of talking about obscure cryptids, is there's not much to say about them. Including these guys, our Cycloptean beetles. Cyclops beetles. You know, the funny thing is, too, is like, you know, they would have some weird-ass name, you know, from their own culture, and we just say, they're Cyclops, they're beetles with one eye. That's all they are. we don't know what the hell to call these things. But, yeah. And we're getting close to time. I don't know what it is today. I feel tired. At the same time, it feels like the show has just gone by, hasn't it?
We're about out of time.
Yeah, we are.
28-ish.
Yeah. We got a couple more minutes, but no. We're going to continue our quest for talking about a cryptid from every state. Next week, we're going to take a little detour, though, because next week we're going to be talking about Cursed Productions. Now, Jesus specifically said he wanted to be here for that, so hopefully he's not...
And that's why we put off doing that tonight.
Because yeah, so hopefully he'll be okay.
We did have a request for Louisiana next.
Louisiana and the Loveland Frog. And we'll get to them. We're going to get to all the states.
But you only get one request.
Actually, now that I think about it...
For show.
Real quick, Sean, isn't there another example of these weird animals that are like in one mural? Sean, tell me, the blue monkeys. Wasn't there? I remember he told me something about this one mural that has like blue monkeys on it, and it's like his favorite freaking thing in the world. He loves that mural. It's the most random thing. And of course he's gonna be completely quiet now. But
and the second he starts typing, that's when.
Oh yeah, that's when we're gonna end the show. Maybe those blue monkeys are friends of the Cyclops beetles or something. I guarantee they have to have some kind of a name. They have to. Of course, and again, you could also have had some, ancient Canaanites just sitting there. These are going to be the coolest Cyclops beetles ever.
Bubbles.
Oh god, they're called Bubbles.
B for blue, Bubbles was monkey.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's a connection there. I hope not. But anyway, it does seem like Sean's going to be quiet, because of course he is now that I've asked him a question. Mm-hmm. Now watch, we're going to sign off, and then he's going to chime in. It's like, oh yeah, no, the blue monkeys, I love those things. But, yeah, I have been your host, Kristoff N. Chester. We have my wonderful companions, Famine and Gluttony, and Rosedew, the cursed doll, who made it through an episode without being thrown finally.
There are like 2 murals in Crete and on other island with them.
Yeah, they're really rare too. They're a random critter that just is in a couple of murals and no one knows about them or talks about them. But anyhow, we got the bishop over there in the corner. Jesus is totally fine.
Oh, he's fine.
We totally did not leave him tied to a couch out in the middle of the desert with no preservations.
He's fine.
Oh, that's interesting. So originally, the first archaeologists that found them thought they were little blue people because they didn't find the whole mural intact. Chat delay is his nemesis. See, I remember when you were a kid, you said gravity was your arch enemy because you kept tripping and stumbling over yourself. But anyway, next week we're going to be talking about cursed movie productions. I'll see you there. And as always, keep checking the shadows.